such an exciting time for you and your family. You know, it's such a bright spot for the lumberjack community, despite all that's been going on. How has this lifted the spirits maybe of you and your family in the lumberjack community?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for saying congratulations. And it has lifted our spirits from the standpoint of now we know. And, we have great leadership with our athletic director, Mike Marlowe, and he was transparent through the whole process. So I was never worried about it, stressed out about it, probably until last month, because now you start realizing it that, hey, this could be it, or who knows what happens. But as far as lifting our players, I think the players and parents are very happy with the result, and at least they know. And our recruits for 2020, they know. And then, with my wife and our 4 young kids, they're ecstatic about living here in Flagstaff. And, they lived here this year, but now we know where our kids are going to school, hopefully for their whole careers in school.
Right. I mean, that's definitely special. Now, you had such tremendous success in this past regular season. Looking back, what were the highlights for you and your team?
I would say just our team. I've got asked that several times, and I don't know if it's a certain game or anything. I would just say, first of all, when we got the job in June, how all the guys stayed here, how much the institution means to them, and just the loyalty to the program, and just going and fighting with each other through the season. We didn't have any drama on the team. We had to make a couple of tough decisions, which, that's part of any organization, and no hard feelings with the players who weren't part of our team. So the rewarding part is that we knew we were postseason eligible. We were going to play in the postseason. Our administration backed that. We didn't know if we were going to go to the CBI or CIT. Obviously, we lost in the first round of the Big Sky. Our goal was, just like any other team in the Big Sky, is, for the most part, we're a one-bid league. So knowing that we were playing in a postseason probably was the most rewarding part of the whole season. And just the work that we did throughout those 9 months as a team.
For sure, I can imagine. Now, looking back again, had a great season, winning season. How do you hope to keep that momentum going? Although we know that past success doesn't dictate future success, how do you hope to keep that culture, that winning culture going forward?
People. It's all about people. I kid, and I hope I'm kidding about it, but there's so many great coaches in our conference, and I have never been so happy to be 16-14. And hopefully that's part of the necessary evil to build this organization into a consistent winner. And moving forward, and just like this year, it's about people. Obviously now it's 2020 and a transfer portal is very popular. And I don't blame the student athlete for it. It's part of the game. So, we'll lose kids all the time, probably to that 1 or 2 kids with the grad transfers in particular. So we're going to build it with people, the people who want to be here. I always tell our recruits, I might be the worst recruiter. I want you to want to be here. I'm never going to pressure a student athlete to come and play here. And we're going to recruit from the state of Arizona and California, a 7-hour radius, any connection. We've had a little bit of success early right now with Northern California, and we'll do international, and we'll also recruit as far as connections. So for example, if we know somebody who wants to come here, that's how we'll recruit. And again, I know I said it 2 times, Mary Lou, it's going to be about the people and the right people here who will help us win consistently. As I go along with this answer, academics will be number 1 for us. And I don't say that, I was a long-time high school teacher, so I know how serious it is for a 14 to 18-year-old. And I think some of the most difficult times that you have in your life as a young man is being 18 to 22, 23. You have different expectations of yourself. Do you have a job? Do you have a significant other? What are you going to do when you graduate? Are you going to go pro? Are you going to get your degree? So those things are so important to me and everybody who comes here, that you're not just coming here 4 years to play basketball. You come in here to hopefully win a couple of championships along the way, with all due respect to the other universities in our conference, and also to get your degree. That's something that you can control, is your own degree.
Right. Now, especially because you do come from that educational background, I know that you place heavy emphasis on academics and service. How do those two go hand in hand with success on the court?
Well, I think that's the type of, again, back to what I said, people who want to do that. And when I say that, Mary Lou, I'm not saying that you're not going to maybe fail an exam, or you might be you're trying to get a C because you're fighting like crazy for that. What we ask for is just an A effort. So it is so important to me because with my experience, this year will be at my 23rd year coaching. And the most successful teams where you could really just be a coach have been the players who have taken their academics serious. We don't want to be chasing guys going to class. Now that'll come on us as far as recruiting. And as far as community service, I have very little interest in talking to an 18, 20, 21-year-old young man about the importance of community service. Because growing up, we all had role models. We all looked up to whatever we enjoyed doing. For the most part, most of our guys liked sports growing up. And so like someone like in my family who's really popular right now is Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
My young boys love Damian Lillard. He played in our conference. So now they're Portland Trailblazer fans. And someone like Damian, who I don't know, but I know people know him, this says he's an outstanding person. So our guys here in Flagstaff have to realize that we're important in our community. So if we go into a kindergarten class, third grade class, whatever class it may be, like you're kind of like the pros in our town for basketball. So again, I don't have any interest in trying to convince a young man to do community service, because we all been there and did that, where we kind of looked up to somebody like, hey, so-and-so's coming to school today. And so we want to do that. And our academics, I think you walk around with a little bit of a swagger and your chest out. And I think it will lead to our success in the court. If you're a confident person, you cannot fool the man in a mirror. So when you're a confident person, that's going to help us on the court. And let's not get that confused. What we talk about, we have 3 goals, and our second goal is be great wherever we go. So with that being said, if we're doing community service, let's be great. Now, if we have a 7 o'clock tip-off against our opponent, let's understand that we have to be great and win that basketball game that night. So I really believe that it's not like something I've read and something I've believed in for 5 or 6 months. It's something I've believed in probably for the last 15 years as I've grown as a coach. And I like to think a leader.
Right. Now, I want to hear about how you made that transition from teaching to coaching. Can you kind of take me through that and how you realize that this is what you want to be doing?
Yeah, if we're going to have full disclosure, I got into teaching to be a coach. So, and that's the truth. And hey, anybody who tells you different, they're not going to be totally honest with you. But and when I say that, I taught driver's ed at the high school level, and it was so rewarding because the students are motivated to get their driver's license. And the transition, if you study psychology and you study as you go through as a coach, and you're reading every article you can get on, even as a little kid, I grew up in Michigan. I was reading anything I could get on Chuck Daly and Sparky Anderson. And, I was fortunate. I had Scotty Bowman was a hockey coach for the Detroit Red Wings. And obviously who I read about in my area, I grew up 4 hours from Green Bay, so it was all about Vince Lombardi. So I put anything I could read about Vince Lombardi, I'd read about Vince Lombardi. So that with my education background, I think those people, they're all very successful professional coaches. I would say they have a teaching background too. At the end of the day, we're teaching our young men or young women, when you're in a classroom, hey, how to be successful. There are going to be ups and downs. So I don't think there's much of a transition from that. I'm very confident in our teaching style, and it's so important. It's not, I don't teach old school. I'm hard on our players, but at the same time, I most certainly would not say that, I would say that we're more new wave, if you will, from the aspect of being positive is way better. I'd rather play for a coach who's positive, someone who gets on me and holds me accountable, but at the same time, teaching life lessons as we go. And I think it's a big reason why we'll continue to be successful on the court.
Absolutely. And I look forward to seeing that continued success. Now, let me just ask you one last question, more of a fun question. I'm sure maybe during this time that you might have a little bit more free time than you normally would with your family. Is there anything that you and your family are doing in this extra time that you might have with the circumstances we're under?
Yeah, I'm learning how to use Zoom. That's what I've been learning how to do.
Good. I'm so glad.
Yeah. So, and then recruiting differently. But as a family, again, we own a house in Mesa where we moved from. So the last 2 days I've been down there. We're putting it on the market. We're really excited to buy a house here in Flagstaff. So my wife, Julie, has been outstanding. Our 4 kids, Bella, Brisson, Brooklyn, and Bennett, They've been so excited about moving here, and all we've been doing is moving furniture, moving stuff to get up here to Flagstaff. So I really don't have any free time right now. Either does our family. Then you have the emotional tug of no school, and
Mhm.
hey, are we working out athletically? You know, we're talking about we're writing goals every day as a family, and we got to get those workouts in a fun way, whether it's wiffle ball or getting our shots up in basketball or throwing a football around. And then, you know, the educational part of it. I mean, obviously with the coronavirus, no one's going to school, so there's not really any downtime because you have that emotional tug that are you being a good parent right now with the new job and everything. And again, you know, I'm lucky I have a great wife and a great family, but right now we don't have any free time.
Okay. Well, I'll take that.
Yeah,
Glad to hear that you guys are getting creative with your workouts though and enjoying that. That sounds like fun.
yeah,
So,
thank you.
congratulations again, coach, and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Okay, Mary Luz, thank you very much for reaching out to us, and look forward to meeting you in person and being part of this great conference in the Big
Yes,
Sky.
sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Welcome. We're so happy to have you officially.